As soon as I actually enter in there, the atmosphere just changes straight away. They start getting hostile. Been attacked multiple times. I had a hot cup of coffee chucked in my face. Wait there. I will come back and kill you, motherfucker. I don't get scared, don't get intimidated. I'm not going to run 400 or 500 unidentified men in one building, sitting around playing ping pong, playing pool, kickboxing lessons.
Wreaking havoc in the community, sexually assaulting women and children, intimidating people, smoking drugs in parks. Are you a white supremacist? Did you threaten to kill 2 women?
A lot of the owners of these hotels, they're not English. Ibis, it's a French-owned company. You made 750 million quid last year.
Outside the Turkish embassy, there was a guy burning the Quran. There was another guy that come out swinging a knife around, spitting on him, kicking him. You was recording it.
Yeah, I was, yeah.
Now, I'm watching that video thinking, oh, I'm going to witness a murder here. I want to say a quick thank you to our sponsors, Gold Seal. I use their products every single day, and now I finally get to work with them. I use their products for anti-inflammatory, reduced anxiety, better sleep, and mental clarity. I'm going to put a link to their website in the description, along with a 10% discount code for you to take advantage of. Go and have a look at their website, see if there's anything in there for you. I hope you enjoy this week's episode, and good health. Anthony.
Liam.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
The funny thing is, I didn't know what hotel auditing was until very recently when I went to an Epping hotel protest. And you was there, and people were saying, AY Audits is over there, and I didn't know what an auditor was. And then recently I've seen Channel 4 do a documentary. You played a big part of it, and I couldn't work out if it was a hit piece or a promotion. Because I could see what Channel 4 were trying to do. They were trying to discredit you, which comes of absolutely no surprise. But also, I thought, well, a lot of people are going to watch this and think, well, this guy's doing God's work. Because no one else seems to be going inside these hotels and doing some honest journalism. So before we go back to the origins of how it all began for you, what was your take on that Channel 4 hit piece?
I was like, just got free promotion here. You know, to be able to get the message out to further, because like further afield, like more people are going to get to see it, and hopefully more people are going to actually look at these hotels and be like, well, no, this is actually happening, like it's there. So, and I think it was all just to do with naming me, really, to be honest with you, putting my name out there, putting my identity out there. That's
probably in the hope that you'd think twice about doing it. And just for the sake of people that don't know what like hotel auditing is, because it was new to me, you've got several YouTubers, AY being the biggest YouTuber that audits these hotels. So they report from outside the hotels, they report on the protests, the counter-protests, but also what they do is, which I think is tremendously brave, because it's like walking into the lion's den, they go inside the hotels and they go into the corridors and the reception and they engage with security and the migrants themselves, and they go into their rooms. And so we got a lot to cover, and it's really interesting. But how did it all begin for you?
About 2 years ago, I was driving one of my work colleagues, and we was working together, me and him, my own business, and he'd be sitting there scrolling on the social media. I'm not really wasn't into social media at the time. And he kept showing me like videos and stuff, and I was like, nah, it's not true. I said, it's AI, it's make believe. Like, nah, I can't see it. I can't see this government doing this to us, to be honest. That's what I was thinking.
What, flooding us with illegal migrants?
Well, putting them up into like hotels, and like I started to look more then once I'd been introduced to it. And I've still, part of me didn't actually really believe it, really, if I'm honest. And I thought,
the scale of it?
I just can't see how it's of any interest to the country to be allowing all of these unidentified people to be able to come here in the first place. So I just thought, no, they wouldn't do it.
And I can relate to this, but just so you know that I'm with you 100%, because if somebody had told me this 8 years ago, that we'd be here today, just like you, I would have gone, shut up, you conspiracy theorist, you're off your head, as if that's ever going to happen.
Yeah, exactly that.
So I understand why you wouldn't believe it at the start.
Exactly that. So then I bought myself a camera. I set out, I knew one of my friends is quite clever legally. So I sat down with him over food a couple of times, and we like went through like certain bits and pieces, because I definitely don't want to be getting myself arrested or anything like this. So then I decided I bought myself a camera, went out just around the street really, done a little bit of practicing, like with a camera, see what it was like, figure out the buttons, etc., and just get used to talking really, like to an audience.
So it's completely new to you, all that?
Yeah, completely new, really. It was. Yeah, I've never done anything like this before. And then, so then I went to one hotel, and it was a mixed hotel, women, children, like families hotel.
Migrants or?
Migrants.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was all full of migrants, and it was all like a family hotel. And I thought, okay, yeah, so at least we can say that this hotel is a family hotel and it's not full of unidentified men. So then I went to the next hotel. Again, that one was a family one. And then I went to the third one. And again, that one was a family one. I started to actually then start to think, maybe it is bullshit. Maybe they are all families. I nearly stopped. And then it went from the next maybe like 7, 10 was just all males. And then when I was looking, these all male hotels, they was bigger. They had more people in it. So when I looked at these family ones, there was not a lot. But then when I was going to these all male migrant hotels, there was hundreds of them, literally sitting around. And I thought that's when, after I started to go to more and more and more, and now I've been to around about 80 of them up and down the country, from Scotland all the way down to Southampton. And I say to many people say like what's the percentage wise? And I say, look, I've got 80 of them on my YouTube channel or so, maybe less. You can make your own mind up. You can see, like there's enough there now to be actually say, okay, look, there's 70% of these hotels, they're all males. And they're not just all males, they're bigger hotels. They're not just housing like 100 families. These ones can housing 400 or 500 unidentified men in one building, in locations where you would think like, this is not right, like this is not. And then you start seeing stuff and in different hotels, but you start seeing like the notice boards, and you see them sitting around playing ping pong, playing pool, exactly what we used to have in our community centres, in our play schemes. I call them play schemes because that's what they used to be. Where in my way, that's what they was called, and exactly what we used to have, But our children don't have this no more. Like our children don't have this. They just, that's it. Do you know what I mean? There's no funding for this for our children, but they can fund it for people that have never paid into the society, never paid into the system. And I truly believe that they're just there just to milk the system for whatever benefit they can get for themselves, really.
What's the average age of the males that you're coming across in these hotels?
20, 25, like youngsters, like it's hard to tell, obviously, all their ages. And I've met some older people as well.
But that is predominantly fighting age men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You feel the animosity, Liam, when you walk into these hotels, and they're sitting there, and you feel it. Yeah, when I walk into these hotels sometimes, and I don't get scared, don't get intimidated, but you can just feel the animosity. And this is all down to, no, it's not all down to it, but you get a lot of signs in these hotels, what to do, defend yourself against the far right YouTubers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, what to do, defend yourself, how to defend yourself. I think it was in Bar Hill in Cambridge. I think they had one of the signs, and then right next to it, you had kickboxing lessons. And you think to yourself, look at the optics here, like, defend yourself, kickboxing lessons. And you think to yourself, what are they training these people for? Like,
is it like they're trying to paint the picture that everybody that they're going to come into contact with is going to be far right?
I'd say they are. Like, when you look at it, like, when I've gone to these hotels and they're shouting at the migrants in a foreign language, I can't understand them. Don't know what they're saying to them.
Who's they?
Like the security, to try to like usher them in. Sometimes that's when they start getting hostile. So then I turn around and think to myself, what are they saying? For them to act like this in the first place.
Right.
Like I've said to them so many times, even on, even at the hotels, like, this is not right. You're training these people to actually dislike us. Yeah, they've got enough dislike for us already. I've had them turn around telling me that in 19 so-and-so, I was in their country, bombing their country. Sorry, buddy, I wasn't even alive. Like, they're encouraged to dislike us, I think, to be fair.
Well, if anyone's qualified to make that call, it's you. You've walked in there, and so you're met with hostility.
Yeah, on more than one occasion.
Okay. So how do you gain access to these hotels? I'm assuming have they all got security?
Yeah, they've all got security. So very early on, I found out that a lot of these hotels, they operate with a C1 licence. Then when I started doing a little bit more digging, then I realised that a lot of them were actually acting illegally against their own planning permission laws.
Right.
And we started looking more into these C1 licences, etc., etc. And then it clearly stated on there that we could, as long as it's a hotel, obviously, and it was, that we could go into the publicly accessible areas. Once we were asked to leave, just like a pub, like bouncer come over to you or something, right, you got to get out, chuck you out the door, see you later, goodbye. Do you know what I mean? Like, as long as you're making that effort to leave, there's no need for security to be going hands-on with you or anything because you're making that effort. So yeah, as long as it was in like the public areas, and I wouldn't mind if a fire exit door was open, it's still in the light, I haven't broken in anywhere or anything, as long as I didn't enter into anybody's rooms or staff only, I knew that I was okay. So sometimes I would just stroll straight through the fire exits, stroll around, have a little look around, sometimes just straight through the front door, just like maybe like hide the camera a little bit, go in, have a little look, but it's a little bit difficult for me being 6'2" and a little bit on the large side.
That still takes some guts to do that, to walk, because you don't know what you're going to be greeted with. Well, you do actually, because you've been met with hostility previously, and you don't know. I mean, I don't want to sensationalise this interview by any stretch, but you don't know if they're armed, if they're not. You know they've got hatred for us because you've sensed it. You've seen that they're being trained to defend themselves against the far right. So anyone they come into contact with, they're going to assume is far right automatically. They must know that people are furious with the government for giving them these luxuries. So that takes some balls to do that. Have you come under attack by any migrants?
Yeah, so I've been attacked multiple times.
Really?
Yeah, I had a hot cup of coffee chucked in my face by one migrant in Gloucester. He then went and got a brick and was going to hit me with a brick. But I also live by the motto that I'm not going to run. I'm not the fittest person anyway, and I've probably got a good maybe 20, 30 seconds in me at best. I'm not going to say I've got 3 minutes because it'd be a fool, but I've probably got a good 20, 30 seconds at the best. And I don't want to lose that energy by running and not being able to see. So I just thought, if he's going to hit me with a brick, same with the coffee. I knew it was coming. It was the only thing that was in his hand. And I just read the situation. And as soon as he made that movement, I just kind of like ducked my head a little bit, just so it kind of catches the glasses, because obviously it's the first time without the hat and the glasses. But so just caught like the hat and the glasses, and I just had a bit of a burn on my hand and a little bit of a burn around the back of my neck.
What about the brick?
The brick he threw into the bush, and then he was using it to scare, to intimidate. Thought I was going to run away. Yeah, like saying all these derogatory comments. He's going to do this to my mum. If he catches me, he's going to do bad things to me. Do you know what I mean? Like sexual things. And I was just like, I just keep my calm and I just want to film this. I just want to show the people.
So what do you think they're objecting to? Because if I was being housed somewhere and journalists come in, reporters, from a channel that I trusted, not the BBC, but if an independent journalist come in and said, I'm just having a look around, because I do watch you, you're always very polite when you go in there, just have a little look around. I'm just looking around, mate. Yeah, cheers, buddy. You call them all buddy.
Yeah.
If I had nothing to hide or I had no issue, and I come with good intentions, I would be like I am wherever I go. How you doing? Anything I can help you with? If you've got any questions I can answer, yeah, like where you're from, what you intend to do, are you looking to get work here? Have you got family? Where are your family? You would just think that they would be open to a conversation. And if they're not, what about the security? What are they doing when you're coming under attack?
Security always on their side. A lot of the times, I don't want to bounce off onto something else. I want to stay on here for a second, because when the police come to this hotel, people in my live stream actually telephoned them. Had like about 3,000 people watching it live, the whole incident, as well as being on my GoPro as well. So one police lady turns up. It turned out that she knew the guy. She's had prior dealings with the guy. He was well known to the police, or is well known to the police. She went over. I showed her the footage of the whole incident. She went over, and it was like they was friends, Liam. They was having a little laugh and joke.
Familiarity.
Yeah, too much of it. And they patted him on the back, laughing and joking. And I'm standing there from afar, and I'm talking to the people on my stream. I'm like, they're not going to do nothing. Like, they're not going to do nothing. I'll tell you now, they're not going to do nothing. Next thing I know, 2 other officers have now come. I've showed them both. I've showed them now the evidence. It's clear cut. And then they come over and they said, right, best you leave. Excuse me? I'm the victim of a crime here. Well, yeah, but if you never drove from London to Gloucester, then this wouldn't have happened, would it? So you're telling me that because I've left my hometown of London, that I deserve to be assaulted? Oh, no, we're not saying that. I said, but if I'd assaulted him, then I would have been under arrest. Oh, yeah, we'd have arrested you. So why are you not going to arrest him then? This is what I couldn't work out. So she said, would you give a statement, etc., etc.? I said, yeah, too right, I will. Yeah, because he's a violent person. I said, you've already told me that you know him. You've had prior dealings with him. This is a criminal. He shouldn't be able to claim asylum. He's violent. And whatever crimes you've dealt with in the past, I don't know. So I goes to the station, and she said, I'll give a statement, etc. Never heard nothing for 2 weeks. So it was funny because I uploaded the video and it just went mental. It done 1 million views on X, done 1 million and something on Facebook, 1 million and something on TikTok, a few 100,000 on YouTube, because that was the full-length video.
Yeah.
Next morning, I start getting emails from the police. Oh, we're going to arrest him, by the way. Okay, yeah, I know what's happened here. You've just seen it pretty much do 3.5 mil in 24 hours, and then you've got all of the big accounts on X are reposting it now, like, what the hell's going on here? You know, like, being assaulted, police ain't doing nothing. So I think they got a little bit worried. Then they started to try to advise me not to post on social media because it then could affect the outcome of the case. And I was like, to be honest, if I didn't post it on social media, you wouldn't have done nothing. The only reason why you're doing something now is because you look bad and it's done X amount of views, you know, and you know you're probably going to get a bit of grief from it. And so this has been going on now for 4 or 5 months. And they've said to me twice now that the CPS have agreed to charge and they're just waiting for a date. Now, I'm still waiting for the date because I said, obviously, I'd like to know, but they've not told me the date or anything.
Because I want to cover some bad press that you've received. I want to talk about your relationship with the police, and there's a few other bits and pieces as well. But just to box off the general vibe of these migrant hotels, because you visited enough now to know, what's the general feeling inside these hotels on a whole? And what crimes are you aware of that have been committed? That's another thing I can't let go.
Yeah.
So the general vibe in the majority of them, and also the crimes that you know that have been committed by migrant men due to your journalism. That's irrefutable.
So when I get there, like walking up there, you can see through the windows, they're joyful. You know, like they're sitting around, they're playing on their telephones. I've actually seen Home Office people, or I don't know if they're Home Office people, so I shouldn't say that, but definitely working for somebody.
Officials.
Giving them telephones. And I've seen it. You know, I was in the hotel. There was only one woman in that room. Where that man come out, he had a mobile phone and a brand new Vodafone SIM card. He come out of that room. I walked in that room and there was only that one woman in there, you know, so he had to have got it from her. And it was brand new in the box. So, but yeah, as soon as I actually enter in there, then the atmosphere just changes straight away. And you can just feel it, you know, like you can cut the tension in the air sometimes. And they're just so quick to try to usher you out. And then that's the times then that I will try to capture as much as what I can inside. It's mainly like, a lot of people say, oh, you've seen all these leaflets now, what more are you going to see? It's not about what more you're going to see. It's about showing that they are doing this, you know, and this is not just isolated in one hotel. It's everywhere. Even people going to work. I stood in the Ibis Custom House, Ibis Styles Hotel, talking to the manager. Well, she was talking, done a lot of talking, she did. Even more than me. Yeah, and that's going and saying something. But she couldn't get a word in edgeways. But I just let her carry on. Because it was giving me time in the hotel. I'm getting to see everything. Yeah. So I just let her carry on. All of a sudden, he comes out with his Uber bike, bag on the back, going to work, app open on the phone. And I was like, I'm done with you now. That's my focus. That's what I've come here for. That's what I want to see. And then when I went outside, people called it the power of the Benson Silver, because he was just, wouldn't talk. And then you just take out a cigarette. You want a cigarette, mate? Power of the Benson Silver. Then he spilled the beans and just told me everything. And then I just looked round at the woman, the manager, and was like, you're actually facilitating crime. Yeah, because that is crime. These people going to work is criminal offence. You see it. So in my mind, you should be done for conspiracy as well.
Complicit.
Yeah, you've conspired. You know it's happening. You know, if you don't, I know there's laws around this sort of stuff anyway. Like, if you know something's happened and you don't snitch, then they try and say that you're part of it. Do you know what I mean? Well, they are part of it because it's happening all over the place. Even when I went to the Barbican, this is like, so many things like this. I'm standing there filming them, watching them go to work. Maybe 2-3 months later, the mainstream pick it up, go send it viral. Good. Yeah, happy days. Mainstream are actually doing something positive for a change, actually showing it, rather than just sitting back. But if it wasn't for us talking about it, they wouldn't show it. They would never show it. Yeah.
Nah, that's an interesting tactic. So you offer them a cigarette, they take it, and then they start speaking. So you interview the migrants as well.
Yeah, so I've interviewed one here, not here, but where was it? It was at Hawley. That the pros. Well, I see you the second time. I think. Yeah. Well, I was actually arrested there. I think actually.
Shortly after I left, someone said that you've been arrested.
Yeah, shortly after you left, I went to there and I met an Ethiopian guy, and he had escaped from prison, and he ended up in the United Kingdom, and I says to him, how? You know, like, you can't just break out. I don't know, I've never been to Ethiopia, but I would have thought you can't just break out of a jail without no support, without no help, and smuggle yourself from Ethiopia to England. And you've ended up in a hotel.
Smoking one of your cigarettes.
No, he wasn't actually. He was actually all right. But it just baffled me. You know, like, what was you in prison for? Like, who arranged for you to come here? Where did you get the money from?
Do they tell you?
No, a lot of the time you can feel that they're reading from a script, and I think it's like I call it like the Home Office script.
They've been prepped.
You know, they've been prepped. Yeah, they know what they're saying. They know what to say, etc. But some of these people, you go like at Epping, you've had one of them, and he never just sexually assaulted a young girl. Actually, sexually assaulted a woman as well. You know, like, but people concentrate on the young girl, but let's not forget the woman. She was sexually assaulted as well.
That's a good point.
You know, and that's just at Epping. And then we go to Bournemouth, and one of them I think he's been convicted of rape, Portsmouth, Norwich, and they're all coming out around about the same time. And I'm saying to people, like, do you not think it's a coincidence? Like, how all of a sudden in a 1 month spurt, we've had 6 or 7, and they've all been convicted and they've all been jailed now, so it's no longer alleged, they're serving prison time. But it's a little bit suspicious that, like, they just come out in that one little period. It's been going on for like a long while, you know, and they just try to cover it up because they don't want people to see it, do they? Like, they just don't want the people to know it, you know. And
No, the just how extreme it is. I mean, I know how extreme it is. I know how far and wide this has spread.
I think even at Epping, one of them was sitting there watching things about. We had pictures of himself, didn't he, with AK-47s and stuff.
And they're watching ISIS propaganda.
How were the government and how were the police? How are they not doing anything about this? Like, how are they allowing it to carry on? Like, they're more than happy to come and arrest me for a breach of a Section 14. You know, because I'm standing in a place where they don't want me to stand.
So to cap it off, from what you've told me and from what I can gather, and this is from your own journalism. Now, we're not saying that it's every single one, so don't get it twisted in the comments, but let's just bear in mind that one rape is one rape too many.
Yeah.
And if we can prevent that, we must, we should, and we will, because there's protests and we're going to continue to protest. And I've become emotionally invested in that. There's children in my life, including my own, and my stepchildren that I love dearly. And if someone was to do something to one of those children, there'd be no words from me. I wouldn't call the police. I'd go direct to the source. So they're also putting the British public in danger, and they're risking them doing jail time, how they'd react. But just to wrap up what you've said, because I'm thinking in stereo, you've painted a picture, which is harrowing and upsetting, that there's hundreds of migrant hotels in the UK. They're predominantly full of fighting fit, hostile men that have been scripted. They know how to respond to questions. They're working illegally. And there's been a number of convictions for sexual crimes against women and children.
Not just sexual crimes, Liam, as well. Like, you're talking like thefts. People look at it and say it's only theft. It's not just only theft. You know, these are people coming into communities, where theft might not be a big problem, like Epping. You know, like into the Tesco's and shoplifting and stuff. People forget about these little low-level crimes, but they're still a detriment onto our society.
Yeah, that's true
You know,
enough.
like, even like throwing rubbish and stuff, they have no respect for this land. You know, like, you go into London and happily just spit on the floor, or, you know, like, people can watch my videos, I won't even drop a cigarette butt.
No.
Even when I'm at the hotels on their grounds.
We've got respect for our land, don't we?
Just wouldn't do it.
This is our home.
Just been brought up not to do that kind of stuff, do you know?
I'm glad you brought up the shoplifting thing, because when you're talking about rape and violence against women and children, it is easy to forget the lower level crimes, but they all add up and they all affect local communities and puts society on the decline. And I've been to a shop locally because we've got a couple of migrant hotels here, and the shopkeeper just allows the migrants to come in and thieve because they're too scared to intervene, because they don't know what's going to happen if they do. So a lot of that's going on because people are intimidated, because I don't see them in ones and twos.
No.
I've seen video footage of them congregating in parks where children are meant to roam free and play. They're in their packs. They're recording the children. We've got our hotel here. I've seen it on a mother's phone, recording 4 migrant men, recording girls doing handstands in a park. And then you get people coming out to counter protest against people protesting against that. So let's shift to your opinion on the counter protesters. And I mean, have you got a relationship with them, because you're well known now?
So when I first started,
Relationship's the wrong word. How do you find the counter protesters?
Very, very hostile. And go back to Epping again, when obviously it first started to
build momentum
there, and we were standing there, and there was only like about 3 or 4 of the counter protesters. None of them was from Epping, by the way. Not one of them 3 or 4 was from Epping. And I asked them, and it's on my footage, and I says to the crowd started to get a bit bigger, and we was having like dialogue, and we was talking, and little bit of chit chats, and the Patriot side started to get a little bit, and I would like to call them patriots, probably concerned parents really, and they was congregating more. That 100 turned to 200. This 3 turned to 10. That turned to 2 to 400. This only went to 30 people. And the stuff that they were saying, and it's all on video, it's all on a live stream, can't be edited, it's there. Yeah, camera cannot lie. The man, one of the counter protesters, said to one of the girl's dad's friends, the little girl's a liar. She's telling lies. The moment he said that, I knew from that moment on that this was not going to be ending very well for these 30 people, because you had a lot of irate people there, let's say like up to 400, and it's a community. Everybody knows each other, especially in a place like Epping, small little town. Children will play together and their parents will know each other, etc. And so I knew then, at the moment he said that, and I thought to myself, not at the time, but afterwards, I thought, done that on purpose. Yeah, to get the reaction. Get the reaction.
What a vile thing to say.
Well, it gets worse, because then he turns around and says, he's only tried to kiss her. I turned around and I looked at him and I said, mate, what sort of deranged person are you to think that it's okay to plant yourself on a bench next to a 14-year-old kid in a school uniform, try to kiss her and think it's okay? You know, like, what sort of planet are you actually on? Like,
and make an excuse for him as if it's water it down.
Well, this was in front of all of these locals from Epping. A lot of them were football lads as well, you know, like, so.
It's fucking outrageous.
I could see the tension getting on, and there was one little guy there, bald head, and he had this red fist on his arm. I didn't know at the time. It was a socialist worker's fist.
Yeah.
You could see what he was, you know, like one of these ones, like, no disrespect to people, but steroids, gym, pumped himself up. But he kept pointing to the football lads and winding them up, cheering them up. And I knew that he was probably going to get a good hiding, to be fair, you know, like, he'd wind them up, done exactly what he wanted to do. And then, yeah, he ended up getting a little bit of a dig. A couple of them did, really, to be fair.
I know the exact arsehole you're talking about now.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I saw that clip.
And he had the Adidas T-shirt.
And he got put on his arse and he lost that energy pretty quick.
Yeah, very quickly.
Yeah, I saw him very antagonistic, really fancied himself, socialist, horrible, nasty man, full of self-loathing, full of hatred, stuck it on the wrong people and got spanked for it.
But also give as good as what he got as well. Yeah, credit where credit's due.
It was game.
He threw the first punch.
Yeah, I know.
Now, you've got to be stupid to do that in that situation, knowing what's going to go off. But you've done it just for the publicity. You've done it just to make yourself out to be the victims. Yeah, when in reality, you've just antagonised all these people, and now you're going. So that was on Sunday, I think. And then the Thursday, they arranged to protest again. This time, the counter-protesters have managed to get their protest up. This time, they've come about 30 or 40 of them in one big group under escort from the police at the train station. Now, I'm at the hotel and I'm saying to the police, you know what happened last time? You've got powers under breach of the peace to prevent a breach of the peace, to prevent them from coming here. You've got that power. You've used that power on me at hotels to get me away from them. So if you can use it for one person who's going to cause a problem, then you can do it for 30 or 40, can't you? No, everyone's got a right to protest, blah, blah, blah. But Liam, these people are not here to protest.
No.
They're here to antagonise. Yeah, they're not there to be protesters. Nobody in their right mind can believe what they believe in. You know, you can't. I'm sorry, but yeah, there must be something wrong with them. Yeah, because you can't believe in that. If you do, and if you're one of these people that sits there and thinks that it's okay, you just tried to kiss her, well, you deserve to be locked up and all, because you're a danger. Yeah, and so you should be done away with him, locked up and deported. So yeah, they got him up. I think they got him up as far as the roundabout this time, that little mini roundabout.
Yeah.
They got him up as far as there, and then it just exploded. And it was, I see the funny side of it, because they was throwing eggs, because a few weeks before, the same counter-protester group was throwing eggs in Manchester.
Right.
And now a lot of these people, because I know a lot of people around Epping. It's where I kind of grew up, in the next town, Harlow. So I knew quite a lot of people. And Liam, they'd never heard of lefties. They didn't know what they was. You know, like they never even realised they knew about the bell, but they never realised to the extent of how many of these hotels was actually around. And it wasn't, like I was showing them, obviously, on the YouTube, they was watching the videos, but they had never realised. So they started watching anyway, and they see them throwing eggs. So they thought, yeah, cheeky fuckers, we're going to get you. Yeah, we're going to throw eggs at you instead. So that's what they done. Yeah, they just pelted them with some eggs, yeah, and a bit of flour. Exactly what 9 times out of 10 the lefties would do to the other side. You know what I mean? Like try to agitate them like that, which was quite funny. Yeah, I found it quite funny, especially when you got the red hat inspector, and I was just standing there just like this with my camera. And all of a sudden, I just see this egg come past and just hit him clean in the face, yeah, which I found quite amusing. I'm sure he didn't. And I think to this day, you know, I still wind him up a little bit about it.
What's your relationship like with the police? And how many times have you been arrested?
I think they hate me. Yeah, I think there's some of them, yeah, that are just sitting there waiting for me to make a mistake just so they can get me, lock me up, or do whatever they want to do. I don't know. Yeah, but but then on the flip side to that, there's some of them that are actually, I want to say like on our side, because I don't want to make it look like sides, but they believe in what we believe.
They're in support. You've got to be.
You know, you have to be.
If you're a decent human being that knows crimes are being committed against women and children from people that have come from a place where their culture is very different, that intrinsically hates ours and us with a complete disregard for females, they have to be in support of people like you and me.
I spoke to a good few of them off camera before I've started streaming. I've had it before where they've waited for me to stop streaming and then engaged in conversation when they know that obviously that I'm not streaming. And I know some of them have openly turned around and said, like, they've actually given me words of advice. Make sure you do this. If you go to a hotel, just don't do that. Yeah, like, and just like little things, like little tips, and you know, and then I know then obviously they're supporting me in that way. Do you know what I mean? Like, because they want the message to get out. But like I say to like a lot of them, there's going to come a time, yeah, where you're going to have to take a long hard look at yourself, yeah, and think to yourself like, I'm actually complicit in this as well now, because they're covering it up.
I would like to think that all of us are on the same team, fighting the same fight. We want women and children safe, and we want the streets to be safe to roam freely. This is a civilised country, or meant to be. Yeah. So what about the police that don't like you? Because I see police on your live feed, you mentioned it earlier, they name you.
Yeah.
They ask you, I saw a video where a police officer said to you, knowing that you're streaming live, do you still live at this address?
Yeah.
Now, for me, I'm thinking, wow, you got a duty of care. You know that this guy's going to be targeted by people on the left, Antifa, hope not hate. There's going to be Islamists that don't like you. There's going to be foreign bodies that don't like you. And they're doxing your address. So, I mean, A, what would you say to them? B, how does that make you feel? And how many of these police officers are sort of in cahoots with the ones that don't like you? How many are you fighting against?
It's strange because it's not just Essex Police either. It was the Met. So it was the Met Police, it was Essex Police, it was Hertfordshire Police, and there was another one. I think it was Northampton, but I might be wrong, yeah, about the Northampton one. And it all first started off, how you doing, Anthony? That was the first little bits, and I'd be like, whoa, what are you doing? Like, you're actually, like, naming me, like, shouldn't do that.
Because you call yourself AY Audits, don't you?
Yeah, so I didn't really think nothing of it at that time, and that was in the Met. And then I went to Essex, and the same thing happened. But then this was at the Bell, but it happened like 3 or 4 times that night, and it wasn't just Anthony. It was Mr. Barnes, Tony, Anthony. And I was like, so they've actually give out the 3 names now. Yeah, not just the Anthony. They've actually give out Tony, what most people would call me, Anthony, what my mum would call me, and Barnes, obviously, my surname. And then the address started coming. And I was like, when he turned around and he said my address, kind of lost my temper a little bit. And I was like, you're taking the fucking piss. Like, how would you like it if I got your address and I published that? Because that's what you've done. And they say, well, no. We haven't published it, Mr. Barnes. You have. Yeah, because I'm live streaming. Okay, you got me there. Yeah, but there's always a but. You're covered by GDPR. What information you hold on me should be private. You shouldn't be putting my my name and address in a public domain like this, you know. But I look at this, Liam, as scare tactics. I see what they've done to Sarah, you know. Like, I've seen what they've done to other organisers. Try to the scare tactics. Yeah, put your name and address out there. Yeah, so people know where you live. In the hope that you're going to stop doing what you're doing. And it's dirty tricks, dirty tactics, and that's because we're not doing nothing illegal. We're not doing nothing unlawful, you know. We're just going around documenting this stuff, showing the people what they actually want to see. Yeah, people like, yeah, don't get me wrong, some people do want to sit at home and watch ITV, Coronation Street, but there's a good proportion of people in this country that want to know what's going on in their country. Oh,
they do now. There's a mass awakening, and it's thanks to people like you that are shining the light on what's being hidden, and that's what you're doing. Every time you go out, it's yet another expose. So they're trying to prevent you from further exposing what the elite are up to.
Yeah,
what they're putting their own people through. So that's why, and that'll be coming from the top, and some will be more happy doing it than others. And I really hope, because I know a lot of police officers watch my podcast because I speak to enough of them. I get them private messaging me. I'd never, ever release it, and I'd never repeat who they were, ever. But the one thing I would say to them is, come on, try and encourage the people that are getting off on this shit to remember that they're the wrong side of history. And if things go really bad one day, which I predict, if things don't improve, it will get really bad. They're going to be complicit, and they're going to look back with regret, and they will, because a lot of them will have children themselves, and they're on a power trip at the moment, and they'll soon lose that power if something happens to their child. They'll never forgive themselves.
That's exactly what I say to a lot of the police officers as well. Like, you know, like, you're going to get to a stage, because they know exactly what's going on in these hotels. Colleagues would talk, wouldn't they? Like, you know, we got called to the Bell, or we got called to here, or whatever, do you know? Like, and so they know exactly what's going on in these hotels, yeah, and they're privy to it, all the information, like, properly. Even like the Barbican, look how many crimes have been committed there, violent crimes.
How's it not been shut down?
Well, I believe it is being shut down in December, I think. Yeah, they've said, but they say this quite a lot.
Oh, until I see it, I don't believe a word of it.
No, neither do I. It's like with this illusion that this idiot Starmer has come out with, we're closing hotels. Yeah, you are. I agree. You cut 2 hotels down that house 400 people, but then you open one hotel that houses 1,100. So you've just gained another 700.
Yeah, he's gaslighting and insulting the public, and for God's sake, don't believe a word that man says, because he has not got the British public's interest at heart. All you got to do is just follow the pattern, look at his history, look what he's been a part of, look at his disproportionate response to the Southport massacre. He's not on our side at all. Here's something I want you to clear up. You was handed a leaflet.
Yeah.
The police also approached you about this leaflet that you received. Now, I know that when you're out and about and you've got hundreds of people surrounding you, I get given cards and stuff all the time. And out of politeness, it's a bit like, oh, can I have a picture? It's like, of course. If you support me, that's the least I can do. So I get what it's like when you're in the middle of 100 people and people are handing you things and they want pictures and they want to. Everyone wants to tell you their story and their message in a little bit of time, but you can't talk to 100 people at once. It's very difficult. But I suppose the question is, just to get straight to the point, are you a white supremacist?
No, not at all. Yeah. I was at Epping.
And why would somebody ask you that question?
Simply because I think for a couple of reasons, really, to be honest with you. When I was at Epping, I get handed that leaflet. Now, I was very green. I still am very green. I've been doing this for just over a year. I've had my YouTube channel for, just say, 13 months. And so I still am learning. And that was one of the first, protests that I'd actually filmed, or maybe the second or third or something, I don't know. And at the time, a lot of people was coming up to me, or, you're the hotel investigator, you're him, you're that. And yeah, but just carrying it on the slide, just keep looking, what do I want to capture here? And then when he said, and this is the God's honest truth, when he said Vanguard, I honestly thought, the white part didn't register at first, because I'd never heard of them. Never knew anything about any of, these people. I thought they was on about tool theft. And if God's honest truth, when he said Vanguard, right, I thought he was promoting a security service or something. Yeah,
Guarding vans.
Guarding vans. Yeah, I didn't realise. It wasn't until I took the leaflet, but by this time, it was there. I'd already committed, kind of thing. So, and people can watch the live stream, watch it before, they can watch it after. Never ever been edited.
And the leaflet was promoting white supremacy.
Yeah, the leaflet, and it had some other stuff that he started to read out. But as soon as I realised, kind of disengaged and stepped away, and then that was it. But then afterwards, we shared some DMs because there was a protest as well up at Britannia. And but at this stage now, I knew who they was. I knew exactly what was going on. And I'm one of these people, Liam, that if I will say it, if I feel it, I'm going to say it, and it might get me in trouble, yeah, but if I believe it, I'm going to say it. And so there was getting pictures, the Pink Ladies was coming about at this stage with their banners, and you'd have these guys standing next to the Pink Ladies while you've got mainstream press there taking pictures. Next thing you know, you've got the ladies in the paper photographed with these people. They're far-right people then, aren't they? Yeah. Or this is the narrative that they're trying to spin. So I said, this is out of order. This is wrong. You shouldn't be doing this. A little exchange in our DMs, and like I said, I'm not going to try to make myself out to be some superhero, because I'm very far from it, but I was just look, I'm not really into chatting in DMs. If you've got a problem, just come and see me, where I'm going to be. Talk to me on camera, talk to me off camera, whatever you want to do. I'm not really arsed, really, to be honest. So I just left it like that. Then I bumped into him again, and we had a little conversation, and I said exactly the same as what I said then, and exactly the same as what I said now. In my own opinion, I think it's wrong for you to do that, for you to try and associate yourself and put yourself in these places. You're not doing the cause any good. You're actually doing it more harm. You might think you are, but you're actually doing it more harm, really, to be fair. Knowing fine well that you're getting pictured with these people, and then later on that day, I think there was 3 arrests at Canary Wharf that day. And guess what?
It was them.
2 of them was them. Yeah. And then you just look, and it's just for the pictures. The tattoos, shirts off, with the tattoos that they have, picture, bang, next thing you know, you mainstream media.
Well, where I've been to a few of these, and I've learnt the game as I've gone along, the whole street movement, protesting stuff, it's become more and more like street chess. And you'll get the infiltration, and you'll also get people that are paid to pretend to be on the right side. and they'll get in a group and they'll throw up a zig hole, and there'll be someone there to take the picture. And then that's the picture that gets published, and no one there shares that view at all. Now, and it's important that this message is sent loud and clear, that concerned parents and patriots, they don't object to illegal migrants being in these hotels because they're brown. Because if they were Polish, for example, and white, we'd all be equally as concerned if they were wreaking havoc in the community, sexually assaulting women and children, smoking drugs in parks, and generally intimidating people and milking the teat of our generosity. It doesn't matter what colour they are, it's the crimes that they come with and the trouble that they bring. So when you get some neo-Nazi tagging on to a right-of-centre group, which are really trying to make change, they ruin it. And then those hotels, the likelihood is they'll stay full for longer because no one's going to back a neo-Nazi type fucking moron. So it's clear that we make that distinction between people that are on the right and people that are on the far right, because we don't actually get along. Because you and me grew up, and I asked you that question because I know you're not a white supremacist. I know that we've both grown up with people of all different races, and it's got zero to do with race. It's all to do with culture and mentality and attitude.
It's like, look, I've got nothing to hide no more. Like, my address is out there in the public domain. I live in Newham, multicultural area. I've got friends from all different cultures. Now, it's never been about race. It's never ever going to be about race. Like, I couldn't care less who they was in these hotels. And even just beyond the crimes are bad enough. We don't have the services to support these people.
We haven't got the room.
We don't even have the houses.
No.
And it's evident because you're putting them in hotels. So if we don't have the houses for them, we don't have the services, we don't have the doctors, we haven't got, everything has gone to pot for us. Like, it's painful to say. You're better off to like pay to go and get like private medical care and stuff. Like, I had a dentist. I got to pay for it anyway, but I still had to wait like nearly 2 weeks, and I paid for the dentist. And you're sitting there and like, you go to these hotels and dentists come to you. You don't go to the dentist.
They've got their own private GPs in these hotels, haven't they?
That's slowed down a lot now. Like, I think at the beginning, when like others, because you had others like Yorkshire Rose and Active Patriot, Truth Hurts, going to hotels as well before I did. And they obviously exposed a lot as well, but I think they took the nurses out. But I have seen nurses going in them, so I've seen like nurses, like proper NHS tags and stuff, going in and probably doing their surgery, doctor's surgery, I suppose, but we don't have nothing like this. Like, I've got to ring up my doctors. If I want an appointment, I've got to ring them up tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock, spend 30, 40 minutes in the queue, talk to somebody, they'll triage what your problem is, and the receptionist will decide whether you get an appointment or not.
It's really, really important, these conversations, because, and you have to say things on repeat. Sometimes it takes someone to be told 7 times before they get the message. You've got to get your crayons out and spell it out. This has never been anything to do with race. This is all about safety and security, national security. Women and children, come on, safety first, always. And moving on to women, another accusation that I've read that's been reported. I read it in The Guardian that there was a police hunt for you for threatening to kill 2 women.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that. Did you threaten to kill 2 women?
So, okay. So maybe, I can't remember exactly when it was, but we're talking about 10 years ago, I split up with my mother and my children, and we split up quite amicable, So a lot of people thinking it's all like domestic related and stuff, But we still talk now, we get on okay. Anyway, there was an incident involving my 2 children up at the school. I said some words at the school. They wanted to teach the children something I didn't quite agree with. And I was like, nah, fuck that. You ain't teaching my children about this. I ain't having that, not at all. And then we got a little, not heated or anything. And then I turned around and said, I tell you, I'll burn the school down with a fucking lot of you in it, before you're teaching my children like this. Now, the 2 people in the room took it as a direct threat.
Did you mean those words?
Didn't mean it like that, you know, like it was said like in anger, and I was a lot younger at the time as well, and me and the ex-missus had actually broken up at this stage, yeah, so like I'm trying to balance that as well as with the children as well, and then didn't hear nothing for like about a couple of weeks, and we went to St Joseph's, Clacton, caravan park, and we was down there for a couple of weeks, yeah, like little holiday. It's only down the road and quite cheap, and we'd be able to go to fish and chips and etc. etc. My mum rings me up. She said, "What the fuck have you done? You're all over the Epping Guardian." So it's like the local paper, well, Waltham Forest or something like that, or whatever it is, the news. I said, "You're joking?" She said, "No, you best ring them up." So I rang the police them up anyway. And I said, "This is my name. I've got a warrant for my arrest, obviously. You've put me all in the paper." So we arranged a time, voluntary time. But he did say to me, like, if we do see you before, we are going to arrest you. Like, even though I arranged to go voluntary, I still had a warrant, like, on the system. And if the police did see me in between the times that we arranged, then they would arrest me, yeah? Which I accepted. I was away with the children anyway. So I said, I made an appointment, walked into the police station, voluntary. Police officer come out, didn't arrest me or anything. Took me in, done an interview, 15, 20 minutes, maybe half hour. I explained to him exactly what I was going to explain to you. I had no intention of causing anybody. Like, I'm really deeply sorry if I have caused anybody like fear of violence or anything like that, you know, like explain the situation.
Heat of the moment.
Heat of the moment. I was going through a bit of I don't want to make excuses because at the end of the day, I shouldn't have said it, you know, and I did say it. And when I left the police station, police officer turned around and said to me, "You're not on bail." So I didn't get bailed. I didn't go in a cell or anything like this. I didn't get put on bail. He said, "If we look to charge you or something, we'll send you a thing in the post." I never heard nothing more about it, you know, and it was one of these things where people used to say to me after maybe, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years, you know, like even my new missus used to say to me, "Oh, you should just get them to take it down." I can't be bothered, you know, just leave it, you know what I mean? It's what it is. Like, everybody that knows me know me from my hometowns anyway. They knew the situation. They knew what it knew what it was about. It was kind of, I don't want to downplay it, but we had a bit of like a laugh and joke about it. So I just left it up there and didn't bother with it really. And then it starts coming out now and people want to put a different narrative to it, you know, and like make it out something that it's not.
Insinuate, you know? You're a danger to women.
Trying to insinuate. Now,
this is the chess that the left play, by the way.
So I preempted this anyway. So I've got my own business. I don't have this contract anymore, yeah, and I didn't lose it for any criminal reasons or anything. But I used to have a contract at a school. So we used to have DBS checks, yeah, and to obviously get access. We wouldn't be in the school. We'd only be in there during like non-term times, but they used to have like kids clubs in the summer holidays. So we still had to have a DBS check, and I used to have like an ID just to swipe in when I wanted to go in, and really nice people they was at the school as well. She said to me, like the head teacher said to me, "Look," she said, "I know you're a little bit of a toe rag. You come from East London." She said, "I'm not interested." She said, "If you've been in trouble for a bit of smoking or bit of youth, like young offender, like, I don't know, joyriding or something, you know, so I don't care about that." She said, "I just want to make sure that you don't have no violence and that you're not a threat to anybody." So I was like, not a problem, yeah. So all the details, 2 guys that was working for me as well at the time, they had to have theirs done as well. All 3 of us passed it. So I actually kept these DBSs. Not for this, because we don't know what's going to happen from one year to the next, do we?
No.
But I just kept it anyway. And it was sitting in the drawer. And then obviously my profile on social media starts getting bigger. People obviously start finding out your name, and then they just make everything so, like, not sound so worse, but they put this manhunt behind it. Just put wanted. Just put Anthony Barnes wanted. You know, like you dramatise it by putting manhunt. Yeah, like it's a big deal.
But they made you sound like Raoul Moat. Was it like a over my dead body comment?
Yeah, like,
Do you know what I mean?
Like,
over my dead body, that'll happen.
Yeah, don't want to make excuses for it, you know, because I said it in a context, I said it, but not in a context where, like, I wanted to be aggressive and threatening, and, like, wanted to teach my oldest boy about man and man doing stuff together, and I was like, no, you know, like, this is not, no, you know, like, he's 8 years of age.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
it's unnecessary.
You know, like, what on earth?
Do you know what? That should actually be the headline. Education system wants to teach 7-year-olds about homosexuality. That should be the headline.
Liam, this was like 2013, 2014. Look how long this has been going on for.
Yeah.
They're doing it then.
And it's only got worse.
And it's getting worse and worse and worse.
Now men can have babies at school, apparently. That's what they get taught.
Well, I know that's not true. Yeah. So I know the man.
We do.
Yeah. We know this. Do you know what I mean? Like, I say it to them all the time as well. If you want to be deluded and you want to think that 2 men can make a baby, that's down to you, mate.
And don't think for 1 second I'm going to allow you to teach my children that shit either. Because, you know, kids are like sponges. Especially if they've got a teacher that they look up to, telling them that that's actually possible. I mean, that's another route we could go down, the education system, but we won't. We've cleared that up. Now, Anthony Styles.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you why I want to ask you who he is, because his YouTube name is very similar to your YouTube name, and you share the same first name.
Yeah.
But he's not a particularly nice person.
No, not at all.
So who is AJ Audits?
AJ Audits, I first come across him at the Migrant Hotel protests. If I'm honest, like, when I looked at him, he did look a bit dodgy, but you can't stereotype people, and, you know, I've learned, I'm still green to it, like I've said, but you've got to take everybody on face value. Yeah, you've got to just go with it, take everybody on face value, make up your own assumptions and your own opinions, and what they will be, you know, if you distance yourself or not, I don't know. But I spoke to him quite a few times. I actually helped him promote his channel as well, like with a lot of other YouTubers as well, because I think it's very important that people know this. Yeah, this is going on. If you're not watching me and you don't like me, go and watch him. You know, like, if you don't like him, watch this one. You know, like, there's enough of us there, so I'll promote everybody. You know, like, I don't care that people say, oh, you're losing views. I don't care. Yeah, the views are still the same. People are still seeing what's going on. I don't care if they're watching it on my channel. I don't care if they're watching it on another channel, as long as the people are seeing it. So a lot of these auditors, they carry these press passes, and they're not real. Yeah, but anyway, it had his name on it. Now, what happened was there's groups dedicated to finding out YouTubers' personal information and doxing it. And this is on Facebook. Now, I think it was on the Sunday, it started to come out. But there was no, like, hard proof. People were saying to me, AJ's a nonce, been convicted. I said, I need to see proof. Yeah, like, I'm going to see him in the next 10, 15 minutes at Canary Wharf. I said, I can't go to him on a live stream without proof. You know, I need to see some form of proof. It's such a serious allegation to make. Yeah, that I just thought to myself, like, how do I play this without the proof? So I see him. He come towards me and he was like, oh, you all right? I said, oh, yeah. I said, you okay? I said, I see you've doxed yourself. You put all your name and everything out there, telephone number, everything. Yeah. I said, well, you want to hope you haven't got no skeletons in your closet then? Because obviously people are going to find out. But I'd already heard the rumours, but it never had the proof to turn around and say, mate, you're a nonce. Now, fuck off, yeah? Like I say, I think it's just a very serious allegation to make against somebody without the proof.
You need to know 100% before you start accusing people of being a sex case.
Exactly.
100%.
Yeah. So,
Not 99, 100.
100%. Yeah, it's dangerous, especially in that situation. Yeah, like very easy, you could be in serious trouble.
You get someone topped.
Exactly. So I'd finished my stream at this stage, and then I'd moved to Epping. I drove to Epping. While I was driving there, obviously didn't check the phone or anything. Yeah, I just left it on the side, getting a bit of charge, driving to Epping. When I got to Epping, that's when I started looking, started seeing, newspaper articles had come out. And it was like historic crimes from like a long time ago. And when I'm not stupid, like you see enough things, and for somebody to get convicted of something that happened a long time ago, they got some fucking evidence. Yeah, like because they would just let them. Look, you hear about it all the time, don't you? Oh, it's happened too long ago. The evidence is gone. Well, this was 24 years ago, and they still got the fucker. Yeah, which was good. They locked him up, whatever. I think he got like maybe 4 years or 4.5 years, and so he ended up getting outed anyway. And he was told, like, in no uncertain terms, does he ever come to any of these protests again? And that was direct from like the organisers of protests. It doesn't, like, we go back to the beginning. It doesn't matter who you are. You're white, you're black, you're Asian. If you're a paedophile, you deserve to be outed, and you get treated exactly the same as what these ones are in the hotel. Yeah. Now people will say, so why didn't you go to his house? Yeah, people say, like, why didn't you go to his house and protest? Yeah, like things like that. And I say to people, like, it's a little bit of a difficult situation when you're going to people's houses. You know, like you're going to a house and estate. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure people do. Because I remember growing up when I was a youngster, if there was a nonce on the estate, the windows would be put in, it'd be burnt out, and he'd be gone, moved into a next town somewhere, whatever. So you just got to be very careful, you know, like when it comes to like houses and stuff.
And also, if someone like you with your profile went to someone's residential property, it doesn't matter what they've done in the past, you will get nicked.
For inciting
There's
violence.
no two ways about it.
Yeah.
So you do have to box clear. We go back to it's chess we're playing now. I wanted to clear that up because of the similarities in names online. Because I know it's not you and it's him, I also want to clear that up so there's no, because the internet is a very cruel place.
Yeah.
And people, if they can't get any dirt on you, they'll start lying about you.
Yeah.
Or if they can get something that's close to it, they'll do that too. I've seen this play out years and years and years now.
So they tried to do it to me. It was ITV, news, and I would never forget it. One of the first times I went to Westminster, and you was there as well. It was Tommy's court case,
Right.
and he spoke to the same guy, and he said, "Your narrative is already written, like you're just here to get the pictures, you're not here to report on the truth." The same guy comes to me in Epping. "You right, AJ?" Live on his camera, But he thought that I was going to go with him. He didn't realise that I'd actually heard what he said. So he was going to make his story, address me as AJ, and then start from there. And I was like, "Mate, what the fuck are you doing? How dare you come to me and call me like this? Like, you know fine well what you're doing. Like, I know for a fact you know that I'm not. You've used my footage on ITV News. I know you know who I am. Like, why on earth have you come to me and you've called me this name at the start of your news thing?" Because you wanted me to say, "Oh, how you doing?"
Yeah.
And I kind of read it, but I just think, like, they try to set me up that way in the mainstream. And I think, like, you dirty fuckers, you know what you're doing.
They knew you were AY.
They know that. He probably thinks, right, I've got him here. But no, he didn't, because I read what he was trying to do. See it, do you know what I mean? And it's like, you talk about chess. With chess, you need to be thinking. Not one move, not two moves. 3, 4 moves ahead. You need to keep ahead of the game. They will be trying to catch you out. You hear stories, and you never know if it's true. Like, and it was somebody who's been doing it for a long time. He warned me. He said to me, when they started naming me, they're coming for you. The moment they started naming me, he said, they're coming. Yeah, he said, now brace yourself. He said, because this is going to start, this roller coaster.
Escalating.
It's going to start going up and down, and you're going to be going around in knots. Yeah, and I was like, nah, we'd be all right, mate. You know, we'll be doing nothing wrong, are we? You know, and then you see it, you know, like even, they don't show the full interviews. Now, I've got it on a live stream. And I say to them, like, are you so stupid? It's live.
Have you got a background that would make the police dislike you? I mean, you hold yourself very well. I mean, you walk into these places with balls of steel. Have you got a background in, don't know, was it Aggie when you were younger?
Nah, not really. You know, a little bit of like skullduggery, really. You know, I got in trouble for like high-value commercial burglary, which I've already spoken about as well. It was a supermarket.
Not someone's property.
No, nothing like that. We've like, you get brought up with some morals, Liam, you know, and you don't rob your own, you know, like you don't snitch, you don't rob your own. And I'm not condoning crime in any way, you know, but that was just the way that we was brought up in the 80s, early 90s. The crime that I done it, yeah, I did do it, yeah, but I was set up. It wasn't like it was like, okay, we've caught you, yeah, and fair enough, fair cop. They had to fabricate. They had to tell some lies. They wasn't too happy that we had done some other stuff and got away with it, like obviously like commercial burglaries. And
what is a commercial burglary?
Like a non-dwelling. So it was a supermarket.
Okay.
It was a Morrison supermarket.
Right.
That's what it was. We was hungry, so we thought we'd get some sandwiches. But so yeah, they had to pretty much fabricate some evidence, get us locked up, and then they started to build their case. And that's where, not the hatred, because I don't hate the police. You know, like a lot of people turn around and say, like, we can see it, you hate them. You embarrass them. And I say, it's not my intention. I have a little bit of hatred for them anyway. Like, even growing up, because times were different. You know, like we'd get up to a little bit of, I don't know, around the estate, smash windows or something when we was kids, an abandoned building or something. Local bobbies come around after you, give you a bit of a dig, chuck you in the back of the police car, take you home. You end up getting another little bit of a slipper, yeah, for the embarrassment of policemen at the door. You know, like, so coming from that era was a little bit, obviously now you see the way the police are now.
There's a couple more things I want to ask you before I wrap this up. Outside the Turkish embassy, there was a guy burning the Quran. There was another guy that come out swinging a knife around.
Yeah.
Now, I'm watching that video thinking, oh, I'm going to witness a murder here.
Yeah.
You was recording it.
Yeah, I was, yeah.
When I heard your voice doing my research, I'm like, shit, you were the man recording that.
Yeah.
So what was that like, actually being there? Because that's a heavy scene, and you know that could escalate real bad.
Yeah.
Burning the Quran outside an embassy, and an Islamist coming out, swinging a knife around, spitting on him, kicking him. And he also, just for people that don't know, this crime that took place, when you hear what happened, he got no jail time.
No jail time at all. So a lot of people think that I knew, that this was happening, but I've actually, I don't know why or how, but I've just got a knack of being in the right place at the right time. And it's the same with these hotels, I think, like the Uber bikes, the being able to get into them at that particular time, the door is open, you know, like when they're secure. So I was at Westminster and there was one of the Palestine people was in court and there was a protest outside. And I thought one of my mates was going there. And I said to him, yeah, I'll meet you there. He never even turned up. So I ended up leaving and it was a nice day. And I walked over into Hyde Park, walked through the streets, went into Hyde Park, sat down at a little cafe by the lake, had a coffee. And I thought, Piccadilly line's just over there. Knightsbridge, I think it is. So I thought I was going to walk over there, jump on the Piccadilly line and see where I end up. I mean, anyway, my GoPro was on.
Right.
I heard something. And I could see like there's little bits of smoke, but didn't really think nothing of it. But as I'm getting closer, I was like, oh my God, this geezer's like, he's burning the Quran outside the gates, saying, saying some stuff. Couldn't really understand him. He had broken English. So I got up to the barrier. I said, what on earth are you doing? Yeah, like outside Turkish consulate. Crazy, yeah. So next to the Turkish consulate, there's some flats. This is where the guy come out from. There was a little bit, people thought he come out of the Turkish consulate. Yeah, but he didn't. He come out of the flats next door, yeah. He was definitely known by the people in the consulate. Yes, I'm not saying he wasn't known by them, but he didn't come out from the consulate. But he was definitely known by them. So he's come to the fence. No, he's pulled in, actually, if I remember rightly, at a BMW. He's pulled into the car, into his gated bit next to the consulate. He's come to the fence. He's turned around and said, what are you doing, to the man that was burning the Quran? And he said something about Muhammad is a paedophile, something like along them lines. The guy, I can name him, his name was Musa. Yeah, he was the one that was the one that come out of the flats or in the car. Then he said, wait there, I will come back and kill you, motherfucker. So I thought this guy was going to have it on his toes here, you know, like I thought he'd have it on his toes. But he didn't. Next thing I know, maybe about 30, 40 seconds, he's back out. Now he's got a knife. I see the knife. But I also see that it was a bread knife. Flimsy. Yeah, so I thought to myself, okay, yeah, it was like he's not going to be stabbing, yeah, but he's had a long enough time to change his mind. He wants to do damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't care what anyone says, he wanted to do damage. We can play it down, say it's a bread knife, but he was still had it like facing him, and it was like, it was weird because I think he thought he wasn't going to be there. I thought he was going to run. But then why he's come out with a knife now, it's gone too far, hasn't it? So he's come around this side of me. I've just followed him now, like turned around and followed it, and started filming everything. And then he's fallen out. He's done a couple of like slashes towards him, never hit him with a knife or anything. And then he fell over. The guy kicked him, spat on him. The delivery guy then kicked him as well. That's when I turned around and said, right, enough's enough. Yeah, that's it, done. He then started to come towards me with a knife. So I put my two hands out and said, whoa, I'm only here filming. Yeah, like, stop. Yeah, calm down. He then went back inside. Now, I didn't see him leave, yeah, but he left. So I went to the security at the thing, said, like, you called the police, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And then there was another clip, I don't know if you've seen it, but the way that security was talking to the police took them maybe about 10, 15 minutes to come. Then they sent two women, bless them, yeah. Like, when I looked at them and said, oh, my God, yeah, we've got this Islamist terrorist here, yeah, running around with a knife, just tried to slash somebody, and they've sent two women. But in fairness, them two women, they jumped out of that car, through that fence, in that man's, without a care in the world. Yeah, they was in, through that door, yeah, knowing fine well what's just happened. They come out, they didn't have him. They said, he's gone. I said, he hasn't gone, I've been here. Yeah, I didn't see him go. So I thought, oh, they're hiding him. Well, anyway, more police have turned up. Next thing I know, they've got, he's come back in the car. So I said to the police officer, that's him. Yeah, that's the one who's done it. He was then trying to get into onto the grounds through that barrier. The police stopped in front of him and was like, you've got to stop him from getting in. And at the time, I thought to myself, is he trying to get in there so they can't arrest him? Like being an embassy, like, because I don't know, like, whether they've got power to get him once they've got him in there. So they got him out of the car. They started searching him. He started pulling out, like, envelopes with £50 notes in and a lot of money. Yeah, about 20 grand. All in £50 notes in envelopes, and they was putting it in evidence bags. I've looked at the copper and I said, mate, he's gone off to get that money to come back here to try and bribe you.
He thinks he's still in Turkey.
That was it. And then they used the footage against him in the court. They asked me if I would go and be a witness, and I said, well, you've got the footage, like, Like, why do you need me to stand up in court? You know, like you've got the footage. You know, like it's there. You know, it's all sound. Everything is there. You've got him saying, "I'm gonna kill you, motherfucker," and then waiting 30, 40 seconds for him to come out. So we had plenty of time to change his mind. You know, like, and then that was it. And then the guy got took to hospital actually. And then later got arrested. And then obviously Musa got arrested as well.
Musa got bail. The other guy got remand.
The other guy got remanded. Yeah, for the week. Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
I couldn't believe that.
Can't remember what he pleaded to now, but he pleaded guilty to a lesser charge, but not guilty to possession of the knife. When it was clear in 4K, you know, the knife was there. You know, I don't know how on earth he's managed to. It's probably got something to do with the 20K. I don't know where someone would even get £20,000 in cash in this day and age. Do you know what? Or just to have it in your pockets and just pulling out. Like, there's an envelope with X amount of thousands. There's another one with another lot of thousands, and it was all £50 notes.
Nothing shocks me, but that did shock me. Well, and I know for a fact that if that was you or me in a crowded public area, swinging round a chopping great knife at someone, saying, "I'm going to kill you, motherfucker," kicking them and spitting at them, it would be jail. That's two-tier policing in plain sight for everyone to see. And the thing is, because there's so much madness that goes on, that's now yesterday's news. People have forgotten. That is a massive miscarriage of justice.
We know it exists. Yeah, we've seen it. And I've seen it on that level. I've seen it on lower levels. I've seen migrant security guards at the hotels make false allegations. I've recorded them doing it. Called in 999. He's beating us up. He's got a knife, like me. I've got a knife. I'm trying to break into the hotel. No such thing. Police have come, arrested me straight away. I said, mate, I've got footage to prove it. Oh, we're not interested. Mate, I'm telling you now, I've got the footage here right now. I can show you this is a lie. When I actually prove it's a lie, these people are not in trouble for making false allegations.
Oh, really?
No. I say to the police, like, you're actually allowing these people and encouraging them to make these false allegations to get you here, and then you're arresting me, potentially putting yourself in trouble because I might put a civil claim in against you for this. Might do. I probably won't, but I might do, you know. And
you could do. I
could do if I wanted to. Like, there's probably, if I really wanted to, I could have maybe 8 or 10 different claims going at the minute if I really, really wanted to and could. And people say, oh, you should do. It's the only way they learn. And I said, but they're not learning because they're not paying for it.
Yeah.
Don't come from their money. You know, like if I fucked up in my job or you fucked up in your job, we pay for it. They're not going to pay for it. You know, they might get sent on a little course where they probably happy to get sent on a course for the day, sit in a classroom on full pay, get some snacks provided from.
Couple of sandwiches you stole from the supermarket.
Yeah.
Touche.
Touche. But then, yeah, it's kind of, you look at it and you think like, I've seen it so many times. I was attacked here at the cop phone. So the first cop phone, the big cop phone, they was having a wedding. Go to a migrant hotel when they're having weddings. And I'm thinking, what the fuck is going on here? Yeah, like, because we're paying for the use of that hotel and now you're actually subletting it to these people to have a wedding. So where's that money going to? Is that going to the government? All these hotels around Gatwick with all these big car parks and they're storing all the cars from the hotels. Is that money going to the government or is that going to the hotel owners? Because you never know. You know, like you look at it and you think they're probably earning money off of that. They're earning X amount of millions of pounds as well for the use of the hotel, charging customers from the airport to park their cars. They're on a fucking win-win. And then they get a big payout at the end of it to renovate their hotel, make it look new.
Full refurb. Yeah. I've interviewed people that have been offered big money to turn their hotels into migrant hotels. I've had whistleblowers tell me privately exactly what deal they've been offered. It's one cushy package, and again, shame on those accepting the money. You're going to look back and you're going to regret it. It's all right sitting there smoking your cigars now, eating caviar. You know, if someone gets murdered or raped in your community and you're complicit and you've played your part, I hope that caviar tastes nice, mate.
I think the problem we've got as well, Liam, when you look at a lot of the owners of these hotels, they're not English. You know, like you look at Ibis. Yeah, it's a French-owned company. It's got one of the biggest contracts housing migrants.
So they've got no British national pride anyway.
They don't have it, do they? You look at the hotel owners of the Bell, the Somanis.
Right.
They're not English, are they? You know, like you look at some of these big hotel chains. You know, like when you look deep inside of some of them as well, who actually owns them. We go back to Ibis. It's owned by 𝐶𝐿, which is a French like government company. You know, and you think you made 750 million quid last year profit from us, took out of our communities, took out of our country.
We've got a huge problem. What I'm going to do, I'm going to wrap this up, is I know that you've got more work coming out that we could discuss, but I'm going to save it so that new subscribers from this interview can watch it themselves, because you've done some undercover work. You've been out on the prowl till the early hours, and what you've seen and what you've told me off camera, I'm going to leave as a surprise to people to watch that. So I'm going to put Anthony's YouTube, X, social media links in the description. There's lots to follow. You know, you've heard what he's done so far, and his journey's been very short-lived, and just see what he's experienced and what he's, you know, the content he's providing his audience. And for me, it's doing God's work, because no one else is prepared to show us what's going on. So I appreciate that. I've got one more question for Anthony, but remember to like and subscribe to this channel. Doesn't cost you anything, doesn't take 2 seconds, and I can keep bringing you conversations that the mainstream want to suppress from you. But the final question I will ask is, what will you say to people watching that judge you for the work that you do?
I'd say go and have a look at it. Yeah, go and see for yourself. Yeah, like don't listen to what people say. Don't take snippets. I know some of these live streams are really long, that I do, but try to watch it all, you know, and actually see it for yourselves. Yeah, and then make your own mind up. Don't listen to the worst thing you can do is listen to what these mainstream media people are saying. Yeah, because a lot of it, I've actually experienced it myself, and I sound a little bit corny, but I'm just a regular guy, Liam, you know, that was 2 years ago, was just, like I said, waking up, just in the mainstream, really, you know, like listening to this.
You're probably buying into the bullshit as well.
I was buying into the bullshit. I've got no shame in admitting, you know, like I'd look at other people as idiots, just chatting rubbish, you know, but they're not, you know, like they're actually not. And people need to open their eyes and actually see. And I know we're coming into autumn, or we're going to come into winter, but these hotel protests in the local communities are very, very important. And you must keep going, you know, because that is the only way that we can actually get change, is if we, or if the people, not we, because I'm an independent journalist, but if the people in them communities actually keep it going, you know, like, because I promise you this, I'll be there as well filming. I'll get it out to the masses as much as I can, and show it to everybody as well.
Well, I know you get asked to go on a lot of podcasts. I know you decline a lot, so I appreciate you trusting me with your story and clearing up some of the stuff that's been said, and also being brutally honest about some of the things you've done. A lot of people have got a past. I think the main thing is you're doing God's work now. And I think the more people look into the work that you do, the more grateful they'll be, because you could just save someone's child's life. And for that, I thank you on all levels and wish you good health, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, mate.
Cheers, buddy.
Do you enjoy that?
Do you know what? I fucking loved it, Liam, to be honest with you. I fucking loved it, Keith.